Hello everyone, my name is Kevin Rissmiller. I'm the author of the best-selling book, Pilot Prison. And of course you can see back here, I'm running my own company called Rissmiller Media, Pilot Prison, and my other book, I Work for Trump, are both available exclusively on Amazon. And what I'm going to do right now is going to be the first of a series. Basically, I'm going to be reading to you to give you an idea what the book's about. I thought about this, and I think, you know how you have audio books, this is going to be the first of video books, where the author, me, sits down and reads to you from the book so you can get a feel for what exactly it is Pilot Prison has to offer. So, let me just go ahead and jump right in. Pilot Prison. Chapter 1. "This sucks, old man balls," Kaylee says to her dad and licked the dripping ice cream running onto her hand. There was a marching band playing, balloons, a bandstand, TV news trucks, and a huge crowd. It had the feel of a carnival with all of the trappings. Kaylee's tall, handsome father couldn't help but to laugh at the absurdity of her comment and the truth in her statement. The father in him said to her, "You shouldn't talk like that." Her expression back at him and his laughter had betrayed him. "I know you feel you have to say stuff like that to me, but I'm practically an adult already, Dad." Her eyes rolling to add emphasis. 15 is hardly an adult, Kaylee. But you are very bright, attractive young lady with enormous potential. She finished his sentence. "And you want nothing but the best for me, Dad, I know, but things aren't like they were when you were my age." How true. Kaylee's father, Blake, was distracted by the beautiful reporter, Christine Belove. She was giving a live report by the bandstand. Blake had been a single father for more years now than he had sometimes realized. This was one of those times. Christine Belove was your typical blonde, blue-eyed news babe who wasn't just very attractive, she was hot. She reminded Blake of Kaylee's mom, who had died years ago. Kaylee's blonde, blue-eyed cheerleader beauty like her mom had her looking much older than she really was, which was another set of problems in and of itself. The entire day was surreal. The reason he and Kaylee were here was to support his friend, Ben, on the first day of his sentence for murdering his wife. Something Blake and Kaylee still do not believe he did. To make it even more surreal, he agreed to do his time in a new kind of prison in exchange for a shorter sentence. It's called Pilot Prison, and it's the first of its kind, just like a pilot television show. It is the first fully automated prison with no staff. It is run by supercomputers. It is a big deal, and all politicians, creators, scientists, and such are on the bandstand next to a cage, basically, that has the first 5 inmates to enter the prison on display. Their friend Ben is one of them, and they're there to lend their support to him. Kaylee is right. This sucks on many levels. The carnival environment, him going to prison, and to add to it, unions are demonstrating against it. The Corrections Officers Union is chanting and holding signs protesting the loss of jobs a prison without human staff causes. "Dad? Dad? Earth to Dad, hello, come in." Blake had zoned out with his thoughts, but Kaylee assumed he was locked in on the beautiful TV reporter. She smiled a conspiratorial smile and said, "Oh, I get it. She's cute," and winked at Blake. "No, you don't." She reminded me of your mother. "I miss your mother, and you know I do too. sorry. He lost words to say. Not missing a beat, Kaylee said, I know, but Dad, you don't have to be alone. Mom would want you to be happy. I want you to be happy. Go ask her out. Blake couldn't help but laugh at Kaylee again. She really reminded him of her mom when she was so direct and reading him as well as she does now. Maybe she's right. I don't know, Blake thought. What could it hurt? Then the reason they were there crashed into the mood of possibilities Kaylee had created, and Blake said, not at a time like this, Kay. Maybe some other time. She replied, oh yeah, sure, 'cause you run into Christine Belove every day of the week. Makes total sense. Yeah, right. Blake shrugs. Well, I'm going to go say hello to her just because I want to meet her myself. Kaylee walks away, heading directly at Christine Belove, who was finishing talking to the camera. Grown men checking out Kaylee as she walked, and Blake's anger burned at the attention she was getting. It was getting near the time that the tailgate party they were throwing should end and the actual ceremony to begin. So he headed to the restroom. He felt like he was being watched. When Blake found Kaylee, she had found them seats up front by the bandstand near Christine Belove. Kaylee had her phablet out, a phone tablet combination, and was tapping into the live news feed from Christine Belove's station. Blake asked Kaylee, did Christine let you have her live feed like that, or are you getting the broadcast that everyone else is getting? Already knowing the answer she'd give him, Dad, you know it wasn't that hard to hack, especially with all the upgrades I've given my fab. She smiled proudly. Blake knew it too well how she could afford it. With the wealth she had accumulated on the apps she sold under his name, because a 15-year-old still needed her dad to do some things she does legally. Kaylee was now admiring Raymond Kimberly on the stage, also waiting for the ceremony to start. He was the tech genius who created the Pilot Prison Artificial Intelligence System and androids. Kaylee is a big fan of his. Kaylee had a fan of her own on the stage herself, one of the initiates waiting to enter the prison and start his sentence, a hacker, who said to the inmate in the cage next to him, check out the blonde babelet, I think I'm in lust, he said with a leer. That's my friend's teen daughter. The inmate next to the hacker, Ben, said. And she's here to see me before I start this sentence, to support me. They are my friends. Friends, yeah, right. You're tapping your friend's daughter. I get it. Nobody blames you, dude. She's hot. The anger became visible on Ben's face as it reddened with an icy glare, but Ben kept his peace. Ben Brood had bigger problems to deal with, starting a sentence for murdering his wife, Stephanie, who he loved so much. The PA system cranks up on the stage. Music plays. The intro to the ceremony starts drowning out everyone's conversation and starts the official ceremony. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special event and live televised program of the opening of what has come to be known as Pilot Prison. Named for the very first fully automated artificial intelligence program called Pilot, Pilot will be my co-host of the event today, and my name is Christine Belove. Say hello, Pilot. Hello, says a very human-sounding voice with only a slight tint of automation to it. A fully human-looking android steps out from behind the curtain and waves to the stunned crowd. That's the end of Chapter 1. Chapter 2. Are you Pilot? Christine Belove says to the droid, going along with the rehearsed script. Yes and no. I am one of many avatars and droids within the Pilot system. Pilot is an intranet system of devices and programs designed to intelligently lead, oversee, care for, and train the inmates placed into my care within the Florida prison system. I am here to represent the system for this occasion, and to assist the first inmates into... Lost my place. Okay. into the pods that will transport them via an underground tunnel to the prison facility for their orientation, so they can begin their sentence. Wow, that's a huge responsibility. That's a job for humans. Why would we trust an artificial intelligence device network to do the job of a prison? Or of a person? Can't even read my own words, sorry. Christine smiles for the camera, and a duplicate image of her shows up on phones, phablets, tablets, televisions, and other devices all over the globe. This is a big event all over the globe, and everyone everywhere has been following this story. You're right, Christine, it is. Pilot had to meet a series of standards and pass a very long list of tests before it would be allowed to happen. Still, as we all know, there are those opposed to this. However, Pilot and our creator, Raymond Kimberly, are looking forward to showing all how the system like this can be a highly valuable tool in advancing into the next step of human progress. The artificial intelligence revolution, just like the industrial revolution of the distant past and the information revolution of the recent past, with the internet, this is the first step in that direction. I want to introduce to you a very important person, Christine, in making that happen. He helped push for Florida to be the first to have this system. He even got it done ahead of schedule and under budget. Perhaps he uses some form of artificial intelligence to get that accomplished. The crowd laughs as the droid makes a comical face and gesture to its own joke with perfect comedic timing. Ladies and gentle beings, I would like to introduce you to our governor, Charlie Scott. A huge round of applause is given. Thank you, Christine, and of course, Pilot. Great job. That has to be the first time a politician was introduced by a robot, unless you count former Vice President of the United States, Al Gore. The crowd laughs, and Pilot smiles. Kaylee glances over at her dad, and he at her. They smile at each other. Kaylee says, "Maybe it will not be so bad for Ben, Dad." "I hope not, Kay." Blake truly hoping not for his good friend Ben. The governor continues. It was a very long and difficult fight to get this approved by you, the voters. The economy and budget problems, combined with Florida being one of the top states in the country for large prison populations, helped to contribute for the need to go to the next step in corrections. The step had to be taken. We will lead the way in a very new direction and will eventually re-educate and reduce recidivism in our state prison system with Pilot's help and the future additional facilities scheduled to be built here across the nation and internationally. Thank you. Christine says, "Thank you, Governor." "Well, Pilot, it sure sounds like you have the governor's vote." Pilot chuckles along with the audience and is doing extremely well in making a very good first impression on everyone as likable. Thank you, Christine, and thank you, Governor. Unfortunately, I do not believe I am qualified to be a candidate because I am only a few years old. Pilot actually winks at the camera at this point, and everyone laughs even more. The governor leans into his aide to say, "Glad Pilot can't run against me. It sounds like the crowd loves him," then smiles. Chapter 3. Blake notices Kaylee is no longer watching the broadcast on her phab, but is typing away furiously. "What are you doing?" he asks her. "Trying to hack into Pilot." She says with a straight face, as if she were looking up a recipe for brownies, "Honey, you keep doing that and you'll get to know Pilot real well from the inside with Ben." Now it's Blake's turn to roll his eyes at her, knowing it will not even slow her down. Fact is, if anyone can do it and get away with it, it is her, and Blake knows it. He has seen her tech skills in action before. He watches as she peels away layer after layer of information, and then she stops and looks up at Blake. He gets nervous for a second, thinking she got caught because of the surprised look on her face. Then she says to him, "Dad, do you know who's up in that cage with Ben?" Blake shakes his head, now worried it's some serial killer. "It's POTUS!" Kaylee says. Blake looks at her like she's insane. POTUS stands for the President of the United States. Kaylee realizes by her dad's expression she needs to explain. No, Dad, not that POTUS, obviously. Duh. She snorts a geeky little girl laugh that she quickly stifles in embarrassment. She keeps sneaking flirty peeks at the inmate she's telling her dad about. POTUS is his hacker name. His real name is Craig Buckle, and he's hacked the White House, she said with great admiration. Blake looks at him on the screen, then next to Ben, and then at her and says, if he was that good, he wouldn't be up there, sweetie. No, Dad, you don't get it. He would have got away with it, except his now ex-girlfriend, another hacker, was cheating on him and wanted to take him out of the picture, so she got him busted. Kaylee smiles big at Craig Buckle, and he smiles back and says to Ben next to him, hey buddy, looks like your friend's daughter likes me. Ben moves over as far as he can from Buckle, which isn't far, and says nothing, but his face is red with anger. Blake says to Kaylee, how would you possibly know all that? She smiles a knowing grin at her dad. Oh please, Dad, everybody knows that in the world I hang out in, referring to her online world. Pilot glances down at Kaylee, then back to the camera. Besides, I was not designed to govern a state, but I was created to govern a prison population using the most modern methods available to help rehabilitate former criminals back into productive citizens, if possible. Christine Belove gives her winning smile to the camera, taking her cue from Pilot. Thanks, Pilot, and you do have your work cut out for you. Today at this ceremony, we will be inducting the first 5 inmates of the pilot program into the facility. They're all well-known, now convicted murder. They are the They are the now convicted murderer Ben Brune, inmate Jason Noah, convicted hacker of the White House Craig Buckle, inmate Kurt King, and inmate James Moore. Later, we will be doing an in-depth profile of each of them, Pilot, and Pilot's creator, Raymond Kimberly. We will also highlight the governor and the political process that took place to make this all able to happen. As Pilot said, not everyone was happy with the pilot system taking over Florida's newest prison. The Corrections Officer Union and other associated staff who lost their jobs to the artificial intelligence system have been protesting the implementation and are even picketing here today. Chapter 4. Outside the ceremony, across the street, former corrections officer William Barber fumes as he watches the live broadcast with his fellow picketers, feeling that even though they accused him of brutality against inmates in his charge, it was really them getting rid of him and others like him to make room for this robotic monstrosity taking food off his table. All his anger was focused on the android up on the stage. It represented what Barber felt was the beast that took his job from him. Just like he wouldn't let the inmates he managed get away with anything going unpunished, neither would this machine get away with what amounted to stealing his job from him. Pilot was going to pay, and he had the device in his trunk that would do the job. Christine Belove smiles into the camera and speaks. Florida's prison system has been troubled time and again over the years with problems of inmate abuse by overworked and undercompensated people who often crack under stress and can hurt those in their care. Often they end up trafficking contraband into the system for inmates and profit, justifying it as compensation for perceived underpayment for their labor. Violence and abuse of the system is common between the inmates, and gangs often control what should be handled by corrections staff. The cost to maintain the failing prison system was overwhelming Florida's budget, and something had to be done. All the standard attempts to fix the problem have been tried unsuccessfully in the past, and it was time for a fresh new approach. A major part of the budget in any operation is labor cost. To eliminate that is to save huge resources financially. That was the big selling point to the pilot prison program and its manless operation. To, for the very first time ever, have an artificial intelligence control men in a social experiment that has no parallel. The mindset being, who better to experiment on than prisoners? Traditionally, that has been a common practice in the past. Some, however, who are afraid of the negative things that can happen compared to Nazi experiments on prisoners. Is that a fair comparison? For that answer, we pose that same question to Pilot's creator, Raymond Kimberly. End of chapter 4, and I'm going to end this session right now. And again, please take a trip to Amazon, which is, I'm selling these books, Pilot Prison and I Worked for Trump, my other book, exclusively worldwide on Amazon.com. So please take the time, go ahead, and now you're getting a taste of what this offers. And I'll continue reading it because I know some people just will not buy the book, but if you hear me read it to you and you like the story, you can always tell those people you know, hey, pretty good book. Who knows? So again, I'm Kevin Rissmiller, the author and the owner of Rissmiller Media, here in my headquarters. And I would like you to purchase either Pilot Prison or I Work for Trump, available exclusively on Amazon. Buy your copy now. I'm also on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and more. So I got my little, my commercial in there, my appreciation to all of you for taking the time, and forgive me for creeping up on the camera here, but I just wanted to take the time to let you know about what I have to offer here today. And thank you for viewing, and have a good day.